They are former 3-time Canadian and 2-time North American undefeated amateur ballroom dance champions. They have been featured on CBC Television's Dragon's Den, and for Americans, that's Shark's Tank. It started in Canada first and then went down, so they were on Dragon's Den. They were on Oprah Winfrey's Network on the Health Gourmet, and ParticipACTION's Get Inspired, Get Moving national television campaign. Robert Beverley owned danceScape Dance Studio in Burlington, where they teach a variety of different dance classes.
What we wanted to do today was actually share so much more than that, because, you know, behind the titles and the glamour and the everything else are the life struggles and the things that you don't see behind the scenes, and the lessons, and that's really the theme of today, is those life lessons that we've learned. And you know, everybody's onlookers just think that life is perfect for people who are dressed like this. But it's a great fortune of being on many television shows. How those came about are unusual in itself, and some of those stories we'll touch on through this time. Everybody thinks life is wonderful, and meanwhile, life is falling apart. My partner and I are just about killing each other. It's not working, and yet here I am in what considered to be in your 20s, a high pressure situation. Oh my God, everybody's gonna hate me. Everybody, you know, if I split up with my partner, life is over. And of course, you have no perspective at that point. You brought the four of us together in a room. So there's Robert with his partner, there's myself and my partner. And in very beginning of August day, we had a very important talk, and basically we both switched partners. So,
era of the internet, I actually I was headhunted by a software company. I really wanted, my dream desire was always to go into marketing, but it was the era of the internet, and because of who we were and because of my position, started to realize how wonderful it could be to use the internet to start letting other people know about ballroom competitions, the world of ballroom that we led. So that led to us putting up a website for our provincial association, as well as creating something called danceScape. Internet, it just opened up new avenues. An author emailed us, not from Nigeria. Oh good, you got that. It was before all the scam, right? And so, oh cool, an author wants to get in touch with us about a book. Really, on ballroom, how cool. And it ended up that the author was a very well-known in his field, a murder mystery writer, who was asked by his publishing house to write something about ballroom, because at that time, everybody was thinking that ballroom could be in the Olympics. And so that was the whole era of the lobbying to try to get ballroom into the Olympics as an Olympic sport. So, and to our surprise, the author lived in Burlington. So traveling all around and everything else. So
the email, the fact that, you know, you're talking, you don't know where each other lives, and then you go, oh, well, by the way, where do you live? Oh, I live in Burlington, Ontario. Oh, so do we. So, you know, what are the chances of those sorts of things happening? So we got together, the author, actually we introduced him to the people in the world that he should speak to in terms of writing a well-rounded book on our sports.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, we got. And up to, and honestly, it wasn't just because of the competition. It was initially for me to have fun, and that's something we lost becoming champions. You know, as an underdog, it's so much fun to chase people because you think, oh, if I could do that. But once you attain that title and you're defending, the pressures change and it feels differently. And that's why we felt it was time to do something different. And so that's led us to the journey of danceScape. The connection with the internet is something that led us to Dragon's Den. And so we'll close out with a little story about Dragon's Den. At one point, because of our website, we got another email, and it was someone from Seattle, that's Seattle, Washington. And it says, hey, I really love your website. And we said, oh, cool. I'm an investor in Seattle, and we're forming a new venture, and we had venture funding. And no, he was not from Nigeria. This is Seattle, Washington. And so out of that, then we connected, and we got a deal with them. It was valued in cash of almost, so that gave us the leeway to be able to leave our jobs. At that time, I was basically staying in Boston 1 week out of every month. And on top of that, having to compete, having to do all the nationals, I just got tired myself of the career. And dancing was fun, and I was in marketing, so it was just amazing to be able to communicate to everyone what we got at a personal level. We're very scared because a lot of people were advising us, you know, if you took the deal, they will basically have ownership, because he was asking 50-50. And at that time, Canada was much more conservative than the US. The US were, you know, the Silicon Valley crew basically was just investing. It was the time of the internet. So through that situation, we left our jobs, and then as we continued to teach, the media started to get to know us. And so CBC Television had a show, Venture. Does anybody remember Venture? Robert Scully. It's a business show, essentially. And the same crew worked on another business show called Fortune Hunters. And so because of our careers and because of us teaching baby boomers, they wanted to profile us. So that's how we got on the first show, which was Fortune Hunters. Now the same crew also worked on Dragon's Den. And so they knew we were pitching, or starting to formulate our pitch to different companies to how we could expand. And so the producers then said, hey, at that time we're auditioning a new dragon, because the other dragon, I can't recall his name, passed away. So we said, oh sure, we'll go, because we had nothing to lose and it's just practice, it's not going to air or anything. So we went there, and 2 or 3 other dragons that they were auditioning. One of them was a lady, I can't recall her name now, but she was very well known in the oil industry. We had another gentleman from Spin Master, who coincidentally was the boss of one of our students, Spin Master, a major toy company, and then 2 other dragons. So we went down, it was in the CBC Television, dressed casually, of course, because it was a practice rehearsal. We were not being judged, it was the 3 or 4 other dragons being judged. And so we did our pitch. And so I felt I was just having fun because we had nothing to lose, so we were bantering, going back and forth, and one of the dragons, this lady who was being auditioned, and they were told that you have to treat this as if you were on the show. So if it's a good deal, go for it. If it's a bad deal, go for it. Have fun doing that if you think it's a really stinky deal. But this lady said, you know what? I'm in. She was the only one on the panel that's in, but the other gentleman said, you know what? I think you have a good business. The only thing is I'm in the toy industry, so it's not a right fit for my investment. Another one said, you know what, I also think it's a good business, but, and then because he was in a different field, it was not the right portfolio for them. So we were just ecstatic, and at the end we said, oh, even though it was one, that was just enough to make us interesting. The thing, he was actually, we said we wanted to get world-class advice, and that's why we were there, because we wanted to take our company to the next level, but we needed world-class people around us, and that's why we were there. And so, towards the end, when this lady said, no, but no, all you need to do is really to speak to someone that can help you pull the numbers together. And then we said, oh great, thank you very much. And of course we were happy with the audition. We shook their hands. I even said to the lady, can I have your business card? But we were not allowed to do that. And as we were walking off the show, there was this kerfuffle behind us, and the producer talked to our, the other producer that was our contact and said, wait. And they had a buzz. We're going, oh, what's going on? And then she came out very excited, and she said, they want you on the actual show. Kidding, really? So that's how we got on Dragon's Den. We were auditioning something else, but it was because that we did so well on the show and we were entertaining and captivating enough that that's how it appeared. But as all good things come to an end on the real show, I had to take responsibility for that. I choked. And it's very different coming down the stairs when the camera is on. They wanted us dressed, you know, in ball gown and tail suit. And so, and I couldn't sleep and I don't know what came out of my mouth. But surprisingly, Kevin was great to us. But the person that was not so good to us, who was known for being a sweetheart, was Robert Herjavec. And we always kid at that time, maybe Robert didn't take dancing, but as some of you know, he appeared on Dancing with the Stars. Yeah. And finally he lived. I think he lives that moment with us. And here's the wonderful connections. The author, John Reynolds, who was known as a mystery writer at that time, started to become famous in his own right as a ghostwriter of famous people. He did ghostwriting for Justin Trudeau. He's done ghostwriting for Robert Herjavec. And so we kind of, in a circle in the last year and a half, have come back full circle. And now it's re-sparking in us. You know what? The universe is saying something. We're not sure yet. But, and that's where we'll end it at this point. During the time of Dragon's Den, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. So it was it was just ironic that at that time, with Dragon's Den and the news of my mom, and the Dragon's Den folks subsequently even reconnected with us, saying, you know, we do want you back on the show, even if you help us audition in the future. But we didn't feel right about that, and it was just in a different space. Mom passed away of breast cancer in 2012, unfortunately. And that was a moment that, you know, when we decided to form something called the Sky High Club. We wanted to do something to challenge ourselves, but also our students, and this is something we leave with all of you, to do something outside your comfort zone. And so a group of students, I'm always fearful of heights, so I said, you know, just as a joke, hey, you know what, I'm scared of heights, and I thought of going up to the CN Tower and didn't think anybody would, you know, volunteer. So if you want to join us, come on, just, and 2 students said, I'll do it. So we ended up doing, going on to CN Tower, and I checked with the person if we could actually dance around the CN Tower. She said, no. But we snuck a conga line as we were leaving in. So there's video footage of that. We have met some incredible people. You might recognize the lady on the far left, that's Shanna Coburn with the Dragon Boat team. The coincidence is that she was also on Dragon's Den from Burlington. And she got funding from Arlene, but she passed away actually a few weeks ago, but very inspirational for us. Trisha in the center, she was blind. She decided to take lessons. She wanted to challenge herself. We'd never taught anyone blind to dance before, and that's what happened with Trisha. And out of that, they nominated us for the Burlington Accessibility Award. And we were proud to receive the Accessibility Award for adapting our teaching methods to help Trisha, someone who is blind, learn to dance. She does a mean cha-cha. And she leads. We are living in an amazing time now. You know, we came from the generation of the internet. Now we are living the age of social media and the web apps. And that's what's propelling us now to think of us as maybe the dance studio of the future 10, 20 years from now. And so we're starting now to implement things like our video app. And we recently got connected to Gabby, actually. Only arrived in Mexico last month. Coincidentally, in software. Thank you, Gabby. So she's helping us pull some ideas together to continue to grow our app and teaching others to dance. Fast-forward snippets of our life lessons. All of you for listening to us. We treat this as the start of something different in you, getting us out of our comfort zone. We're so comfortable teaching, but we're not comfortable speaking. Well, maybe she is. I'm surprised she hasn't fought for the microphone. Pressures have just cleared, and we can now look and see beyond.
That's part of the journey. So, you know, the synchronicities in life, recognizing them and going. Perspective gives you, if you're able to have perspective, right, it puts you into the right frame of mind to be able to say, really, if you're anxious about something, how important is this really, right? At the end of the day, 2 years from now, a year from now, 2 months from now, right, how important is that? What means the most around you is really family, it's friendship, and it's fun. Look at that, look at the fun there, just running the road to yourself, right? And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. So thank you very much for indulging us in our story, thank you.